Who the heck is Pep Talks?
I'm not gay, but I fantasize about Marco Rubio. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Let's eradicate the Kung flu. I'm literally coming. Pep Talks. Pep Talks.
Who the heck is Pep Talk?
They want our women. They want our children.
Pep Talks.
Sometimes no means yes. Grab them by the
Pep Talk.
Grab them by the Marco Rubio. Obama is a racist.
Pep Talks.
I'm literally coming. I'm
Pep
literally coming.
Pep Talks.
We found weapons of mass
Pep Talks.
destruction. My fellow Americans, it has been confirmed today from Pep Talks that we are indeed all high on politics.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to PEPAGANDA. Oh, man. It's been a while since I've done that. Well, yes. Welcome to the new edition of PEPAGANDA and a new week of This Space. Glad to have you guys here. We got some awesome live programming lined up for you guys. Thank you for being here. Welcome, everybody in chat. Appreciate you guys popping in. Yeah, so went a little late last night. Had a lot of fun. I'm just going to say that yesterday was one for the books. I was able to go back and watch that final. It was like the final hour. I'm quite proud of it, guys. As far as like showing my my comedy chops, it felt good. So if you guys are interested in seeing some of the funnier bits from this show last night, go check out right around the timestamp of, I think it was like 7:22. It was like 7:22 to like the end of the show, but I'll be releasing it as its own block because I had a lot of fun. I figured out how to do my my Jesse Ventura impression, even though it's kind of based on Will Sasso and this wrestler Karrion Kross doing their Jesse the Body Ventura impression. I actually did kind of hurt myself doing it, but yeah. Did you know that Jesse Ventura, he was the governor of Minnesota, and he tried to unionize over the WWF, and Hulk Hogan, he betrayed the boys, and I'm never going to forgive him for that. So if you guys want to see more of Jesse Ventura and just in general, funny stories, kind of evolved into a bit. So go check that out. Also, didn't get much sleep. So it's going to be an interesting show today. We are covering the news. So get ready for that, guys. I know. I do want to talk about a little bit what's going on with YouTube. So I've been talking about this on my my channel and my show High on Politics daily, 4 p.m. Central, on at Pep Talks TV. So I've been noticing that there is something happening with the algorithm. It kind of sucks because it's attacking. I don't want to use that term, but it is happening to mostly left-wing creators or creators that don't fall in line with like the centrist version of, leftism, which I was kind of going on what I consider to be like a little bit of a paranoia streak where I was just like, oh man, like no, this has got to be like internal. This has just got to be me. And then David Pakman started releasing, he released a video, Farron Cousins released a video. Park Rose Permaculture is apparently quitting politics because of this, even though it seems like she was already doing that, which maybe I'll talk about her on this show. I might talk about that more on High on Politics because, I don't know, there's something about her that annoys me. I don't know specifically what it is, but there's something. And I've just never really thought too much deeper into it, but I got recommended her video because it was essentially the same type of content where it was just somebody talking about how this is affecting them. And then the House of L, if you guys don't follow her, please do. She makes amazing content. And it's not a Superman channel like I thought it was initially, where I was just like, wait, is this like a Superman channel that like slipped into politics? No, she's like a video essayist that does news and politics type of content, which I think is awesome. Right? We need more of that. But yeah, she covered it, and it's hitting a lot of people. And then I had it brought to my attention from my wife that one of the people that she follows, who's like a true crimer, and then there was another one, I forgot. She showed me today. Shit, I wish I remember the name of it, but cool channel. Talks about just like pop culture stuff, and again, likes to mix in some of that, true crime stuff. But same thing, like they're noticing a huge shift right now. So it's really weird to see YouTube just kind of burying smaller creators right now. And somebody in my chat yesterday had a really good theory about this, how they're deprioritizing some of like the smaller content to give, I guess, the bandwidth to some of the bigger content creators, because like thinking back on it, they brought up a really good point about how there is only so much that like YouTube can, monetarily kind of like commit to certain shows. And as far as AdSense goes, like obviously like I'm a different type of creator where, most of my like most of my revenue from like streaming comes from like, audience participation and the audience in general, which is, awesome for me. But it is obviously a major factor in how much like they can dole out to other creators. So it is really concerning. For for me, I'm not gonna lie, it is freaking me out a little bit. I'm trying not to get too bogged down in it. Like yesterday, I did kind of notice like it was hitting again, and this would not be an issue. And this is kind of the whole crux of the way that people are like figuring out that this is happening to them is I've been looking at my analytics and nothing has changed. If anything, like I'm getting more exposure and more click through. Like I get higher click through rates. I get more, watch time. And somehow, some way, that's not translating. So whatever YouTube did sucks. And my this sucks because I think that it's also impacting this space. Because let's be real, like even though it's impacting like the true crime podcasters or whatever, and like some other people out there, it's really affecting left-wing streamers. And I think there's like maybe two people or like two shows that are kind of seeing growth, being Breaking Points and Kyle Kalinske, which interesting how, there's a tie there, but honestly, I think that one is legit. Like, oh, okay. They already had their things. And somebody had brought up that if Kyle had started doing this, like the same type of content that he's doing right now, they think that he wouldn't be getting the numbers that he gets. Dean Withers and Parker Gets a Job are pretty big also. Yeah, it's because they do call-in shows and instant engagement, and also they are the TikTok generation. So yeah, I wonder how they're doing. Like, I wonder how their like analytics are looking. Excuse me, I have to blow my nose. Because I wonder if they fall into like that whole centrist bit that I was talking about, because it really seems like those are the guys that are doing well. You got like Adam Mockler, Midas Touch. Midas Touch obviously is doing well, but which also is annoying because that makes me think that it's like, dude, just clickbait the shit out of the thumbnails. But then again, I look at like the actual appetite of like people that I've been talking to, like either it like outside of streaming or even in the chat. It seems like a lot of you guys are burnt out on the clickbait bullshit too. So I don't know. We gotta brainstorm. Hi, Algo. Hey, yes, definitely. Say hello to the Algo. And try and get us out there. I do appreciate that. Thank you. You want an ad block, but donate to streamers I frequent. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't go broadcasting that in chat, just so you know. I do know that like Google is pretty no on the ad block tech. So let just say allegedly you do that, right? You allegedly or have maybe in a completely theoretical way have done that. I just watched a short on this. It's called Ma, the calm before the storm. We just have a constant storm. No time to appreciate the buildup or the storm. I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm trying not to doom her as much. I hope you guys noticed that yesterday because I did have like a nice little sit down with myself. You know, had a little what I would call meditation on this, and yeah, you can't let it all bog you down, guys. And honestly, if you do, then at least try to be solutions based. You know, and also online discourse. We have got to calm down on some of this shit. I this sucks. So I started my Twitter for my show, right? Never had Twitter before that. I'm proud of that, you know. And dude, how quickly it got me into like, you know, doom scrolling where I was just like, oh geez, like I caught myself doing it just last weekend. I was like, wow, I am now just fully, I guess, addicted to Twitter. And then I just started seeing it's the same damn discourse everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, like it everywhere. Those two platforms, but you know, I'd say those are a good barometer for kind of judging where social media is. And realistically, dude, it's all like right-wing hellscape bullshit, like algorithms is trying to keep you involved. Facebook is literally nothing but right-wing outrage posting. Like I get fucking shit from like the far suburbs that I have absolutely nothing to do with that are just like a bunch of Republicans living there. And they're just like, look, there's a red wave hitting Illinois. Look, JP Pritzker's so unpopular. Look, he looks like the penguin. He's a billionaire. You don't want to vote for a billionaire, do you? Shut the fuck up. God, I'm just so sick of it all. I really am. Man, like, as much as I am all for the, you know, taking that energy and being like, let's change the world. Let's do this. Yeah, we kind of got to take over the Democratic Party first. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. And we really do have to do that. Like it's there's no other fucking choice. We're not going to third party our way out of this shit. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I know that kind of sucks to hear. And it's just a harsh reality, but fuck, man. And then I saw what was going on. Like it's just insane. Like how much of it is just psyop bullshit that is designed to keep people from engaging in the party? Like, and on top of it, does that really need to happen? I don't even know anymore. Like now I'm that guy where I'm like, is Trump actually rigging elections? Because after the Massey election, there's just no fucking way. There's no way. There's no way for that dude to not have any popularity and to win by the margins that he did. There's just no fucking way. And we're just supposed to believe that it's because it was a Trump candidate. Uh-huh. Taking over the Democrats will only destroy them. Good. Taking over the Democrats will yes. Okay. If it gets people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz out, okay. Like, I don't know. Anna, you actually have a rare opportunity to campaign like aggressively against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I mean, who's the candidate that's even running against her that like it should just be a no-brainer. Get her out. I look at her like Mike Madigan. She really is like the Mike Madigan of the DNC, where it's just like, you know, she's a fucking problem. You know, she's corrupt. And now she's just, you know, gonna fucking carpet bag a district just because, like, and pull a fucking Lauren Boebert. I don't think so. You know, you're not in her district. No, but you're in the locality. Like, that's the thing. Just because I was all like for Cat doesn't mean that I was like not helping like my buddy in the Illinois 8th, you know, look at his progressive candidates and stuff like that. Like I'm not saying like you need to go out there and campaign or door knock or whatever the hell. Excuse me. Oh, fuck. Okay, I think I'm good. Man, I've been at 2 lately. like I've been saying this where it's like I'm like usually a three sneezer, but two. Is my body changing? Is that what happens? Anyway, you're not in her district, but I get your point. Yeah, see, I mean, again, if you have the opportunity to try and convince somebody that lives in her district to just be like, yeah, no. Yeah, that'd be great. Isn't wait, who's tonight? Is that the Texas runoff? Yeah, I think it's the Texas runoff tonight. Okay, so we'll find out if that one oh god, I forgot her name already, but she's like the far left candidate. Like I had a hot take yesterday about how her using that like the language about like just being like, no, we need to abolish ICE. I was like, okay, yes, I agree, but you're saying this in Texas. Ugh. Just I don't know. That's risky, Just kind of know like your area, like saying that in Chicago, based like, and honestly, I think that would help you. But Texas, I don't know. I don't live in Texas. I don't live in that area, but we'll see what happens. I'm hoping for the best, and if the best doesn't happen, then all right, move on. We have to. I'm seeing too much doomerism, man. And the thing is, I'm seeing too many people quitting, just like disengaging, checking out entirely, whether it be content creators or people like just in life, where they're like, I am disengaging with politics and like just completely. It's like, I know that the weather got warm and like the sun hit your face for the first time, but maybe now's not the time. Now is the time to kind of like, I don't know, pay attention because we're at war and he didn't end it yet, even though he kept saying that, we are almost at a deal. And then self-defense strike. Okay. Like that happened last night. But yeah, like people got to fucking, you can't just disengage entirely. Now, if you need to, this is where I come in, where it's like, all right, this is where if you need to watch somebody that doesn't take themselves too seriously and you need to just kind of like feel like you're hanging and discussing the news, I think that's, healthy. I think that's great. But or just watching news shorts, like just make sure you're like not completely checking out cuz like I said, I know you know what, I'll just say it. I have a friend that they explained to me that they're just done paying attention to politics completely. And I was like, I feel like that is not a good way to go about this. Because I kind of felt this moment where I was like, or like this this realism this reality of the fact that it's like Trump is going to get away with this shit because of that. He's just exhausting normal people. So someone with a show named High on Politics, for example. Exactly. Yeah. Like this is who the heck is Pep Talks? Who's that guy? Like, what's he do? I don't know. You try to like bring comedy and joy to people? Man, there's no room for that in politics. That's crazy. But yeah, again, to kind of finish my point here, I do think that it is important to stay engaged. And honestly, that's where this space comes in, where we have so many people that know so many different things on this space. And honestly, I think that like the future of this space is bright. We're brainstorming ideas, man. We got some stuff in the pipeline, and we also, we got some awesome creators that might do some creator collabs. Been talking about possibly doing like a debate thing. So just stay tuned, guys. That's gonna be it's gonna be fun. Alrighty, let's start some news here. Okay, like let's find out about this this Trump bombing Iranian boats, or breaking the ceasefire but not breaking the ceasefire, because ceasefire means nothing anymore, I guess, but whatever. I guess we'll just go from there. Oh, here. You see this? Hit that like button. Make sure you do that on this stream here. and subscribe, please, if you have not already. Also, double check to see if you guys are still subscribed, and if you guys have your notifications on, turn them to all, because that really helps get the stream out there, and also gives you all the notifications from the channel. All right, let's get some news.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Priscilla?
Indeed, we do. Potential Iran deal not looking so hot as the U.S. resumed air
Not going to watch the whole thing, by the way.
strikes in southern Iran yesterday, and Israel is saying they are escalating in Lebanon, so some pretty dire signs there. Professor Mohammad Moradi is also going to join us to talk about the view from the Iranian perspective on these developments and what he thinks is going to happen next. We're also going to take a look at the fallout globally from the U.S.'s strategic defeat in Iran. Right now, the Trump administration has paused weapon sales to Taiwan. Of course, this comes on the heels of that big trip to China, so very interesting indications there. Minnesota has become the first state.
Yeah. It's almost like we're talking about Minnesota a lot in the news now. Yeah. It's almost like they need a savior to come and take care of them. I'm not sure if I qualify anymore to do the governor, but, maybe a Senate position or perhaps a presidential run is in the future.
In the nation to ban prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi,
Carly,
but they are
what's
facing a backlash from the federal government, which is suing them now. So we will dig into that. And also, supposedly, Hassan Piker and Medea Benjamin have been subpoenaed over that trip that they took to Cuba. Of course, Ryan Grimm, our own Ryan Grimm, was on that same trip. So he is going to join us to talk about what we know about that and the potential fallout. So a lot to get to.
All right, so that I know I will be covering on High on Politics.
I knew I would know so much about Cuban hotels, but here we are. Here we are. Thank you to everybody who is a premium subscriber. As you guys know, we sent out that notice that we have shifted our premium service over to Supercast. So there's a couple of exciting things, and that's why we were off yesterday, to facilitate all of that. Millie,
girl, what is that dress?
make sure that I go through the full list. Now, first and foremost, we are on Supercast now. Nothing is changing for you. You're still going to get your link, etc. There is a email that you will all have in your inbox for instructions to reconnect your Spotify feed or anything.
Nobody told them, I'm actually kind of breaking the same rule, but I knew that this was going to possibly be an issue where it's apparently this type of patterning, and because of the frame rates.
Now, on that front, I know it's
doesn't
annoying.
really translate well.
Apologize, but because one of the reasons that we moved is it's going to be lightning fast now to be able to get the show available on Spotify for our premium subscribers, where you can watch on the Spotify app if you so choose. We also are going to be able to do our AMAs live on YouTube, so we'll be sending out a YouTube live unlisted link for all of you. We'll be taking
I'm starting to notice this stuff where it's they're prioritizing Spotify and other platforms.
Questions. We'll also take some pre-selected questions from the Supercast platform, so we're going to mix it up there and then. And I know a lot of people.
YouTube. Why?
Well, really, they missed some of that on YouTube, so it's all going to be there, right there for you. You can watch it at any time. YouTube AMAs, the Spotify is going to be faster. And of course, as we teased for all of you, we'll have a newsletter that will be launching in June. Crystal and I were working behind the scenes to make sure that this thing is seamless and it's perfect and it's a product that we're really, really proud of.
Yeah.
That's going to be our 5-year anniversary. So TLDR, we're happy to be back on Supercast, the platform that we launched on. The newsletter is coming. Nothing is changing for you. You just got to check your email, and there's support contacts there for you able to figure.
Check my email, bro.
Everything out. But
bro,
we believe that we're not moving again.
Actually,
this is it.
reminded me.
This is our forever home.
It's over. It's our forever home. We're very, very happy to be back on Supercast.
No, we appreciate you guys bearing with us, but I know that you're going to enjoy the experience and appreciate it. So I think this will be a good move for everybody. And, like Sagar said, Spotify's going to be faster. If you have any trouble, look in the description of this video, check your inbox for that email, which will have a support contact as well. Make sure that everything gets lined up and secured for you. Griffin, Mac, everybody's been working overtime, and so far it's gone pretty seamlessly.
That's right.
So,
next week is our 5-year anniversary, and we just want to enhance the premium service as much as humanly possible. We need a home where we can build on top of that and make it so that when you subscribe, you give us your hard-earned money, that you get the best possible service that we can possibly.
Breaking Points? It's been 5 years. What?
Simply ask for it. And that's where
our when they were on Rising.
Plans are, the newsletter and everything else, the new team over here at Breaking Point. So seriously, thank you. All right, with all of that, let's go ahead and get started here with Iran. Let's start actually with A2, the biggest news that came out of the weekend. Just yesterday, Iranian sailors and fishermen were reportedly killed by U.S. forces after they struck vessels near Bandar Abbas. The IRGC-linked Fars News reported explosions and similar sounds. The CENTCOM spokesperson confirmed to Fox News that the United States forces conducted strikes in southern Iran, quote, to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. Targets, he said, included missile launch sites and Iranian boats that were attempting to place mines. 2 senior U.S. officials told Fox News that the strikes were, quote, defensive and do not indicate that the ceasefire is over. Iranian air defenses separately shot down a MQ-9 Reaper drone in the past day, 2 down by the IRGC and 1 by the Army's air defense. So all of this is from IRGC and CENTCOM. So obviously, the details are a little bit unclear, but what we do know.
People have very interesting definitions of ceasefire,
Yeah,
I will just say.
Ceasing fire, self-defense also, by the way. Look, we have no idea what happened. What we do know is that on the heels of some alleged agreement, there's a couple of signs where things are falling apart. First is, let's take the U.S. at its word, even on its face, which is that these boats were laying mines in the Straits of Hormuz. Well, that's not really something that you would be doing if you were on the verge of some sort of imminent ceasefire and a reopening of the Straits of Hormuz. Second is that U.S. fighter jets not only went after these boats, but they also targeted missile launch sites that are on the coast that were responding to some of these U.S. forces. It shows like the heavy level of U.S. military involvement that remains in the Strait as a deal is supposedly closed. Now, the second part of this, which I think is very important, let's put A3B, please, up here on the screen. But Israel has now struck a number of strikes. It has now struck a number of targets in Lebanon as of yesterday. This came on the heels of an announcement from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that they were going to facilitate their, quote, defensive strikes against Hezbollah. The reason why all of this matters together is that the ceasefire on its face is supposed to apply to Lebanon as it was previously.
Oh my God, that'd be genuinely funny if Crystal wore that, like, that same dress or one of her, couch pattern dresses to interview JD Vance.
Israel, obviously, and Hezbollah did not abide.
Heavy breathing. He's just sitting there sweating like.
By that, after the initial ceasefire happened, there continues to be firing all along the line. Now it's happening again with the backing of the United States, but most
I don't think it's being talked about enough that JD Vance just like outright said that he's going to drop his 2028 presidential bid.
As we led with U.S. forces striking Iranian forces directly in the Straits of Hormuz, all on the verge of this alleged ceasefire extension, which we're potentially being negotiated right now.
I am old enough to remember when Trump put on a True Social saying, demanding that Israel stop the bombing in Lebanon. And now here we are with Israel, announcing, and with the assent of President Trump saying, yes, we are going to continue to bomb. We are going to escalate what we are doing in Lebanon, and we have no intention of stopping. So that tells you everything you need to know about how close we are actually to a deal. And we saw some ridiculous statements coming out from Trump-aligned media figures, Scott Jennings and others. We'll actually ask Professor Morandi about some of this. But, the deal's 95% done. All we need to figure out is this whole Strait of Hormuz situation and also the whole nuclear situation. Was like, okay, well, if
isn't that like the whole thing?
That's remaining on the table, then you are not at 95% of the deal. You actually haven't tackled any of the significant issues which are barriers to the end of this war. I was listening to...
I'm glad that gaslighting is a term that's going around on social media a lot with the Trump administration, where people are finally waking up to it. And I've seen it with like some MAGA people where they're just like, no.
To Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson this morning in an interview with Glenn Deason, and he made what I thought was a really important point. He's like, look, the heart of diplomacy is meeting face to face and working things out. That becomes even more important when you have two parties that have negative trust. Why? Because we've used, diplomacy as a feint, as a ruse to bomb and attack this country now on multiple occasions. The fact of the matter is that since those initial talks in Pakistan, there have not been any face-to-face meetings between anyone in Iran and anyone in the U.S. So do you really think we're close to ironing out a deal when no one from our side has even spoken directly to anyone from their side? And now we've gone back to bombing, and the Israelis, who do not want any sort of a deal, have been given the green light to escalate in Lebanon. And now, and we can put this element up on the screen as well. This is Trump Truth Social. I'm not sure, Sagar, which element this is, but in any case.
My God. Dude, what happened to the days of like his short and sweet, like kind of almost borderline funny, sometimes actually funny tweets like, what the fuck is this bullshit? God, I miss the days when they actually had a character limit.
Trump is now saying,
oh wait, this is truth. I keep forgetting
that he wants the Gulf countries.
He didn't write that. No shit.
To join the Abraham Accords as part of.
I'm not even sure if he dictated this. And if he did, then this kind of proves that he might have like prefrontal. I mean, I don't know. No, because he's naming it. No, he didn't write this at all.
This comprehensive deal. So now you're trying to add another complicating factor into this. And of course, these Gulf countries are rightly saying, well, hey, part of the whole idea
GPT
of normalizing relations with Israel is that you would have
beep, boop, beep, boop. Hold on. Processing. It's going to take a minute. Hold on. Did you put your credit card information in? It'll help move this along a lot faster.
Some sort of Palestinian state, or at least a credible path to that Palestinian state. And of course, we are so far from that it is an absolute joke. It's preposterous to imagine that we're heading in that direction.
Let me really sit on this because it's really important. And so actually, I'll come back to this.
Yeah, you sit on that.
Guys, Apologize for all the jumping around. Go back to A1. So on the one hand, we actually do have a massive concession here from Donald Trump. This happened late yesterday. Here's what he said. The enriched uranium nuclear dust will either immediately be turned over to the United States to be brought home, or preferably in conjunction and coordination with the Islamic Republic of Iran, destroyed in place or at yet another acceptable location with the Atomic Energy Commission. By the way, he means the IAEA, because the Atomic Energy Commission doesn't exist anymore, or its equivalent, being witness to this process and event. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Why is this such a massive concession? Because for the entire time now so far, Trump has said all of the, quote, nuclear dust, aka nuclear material, enriched uranium up to 60%, must be turned over to the United States. Iran has said, well, not so fast. We have two options. We can either downblend it here under the supervision of the IAEA, or we will ship it to Russia or China, a friendly third-party nation under which IAEA
dust. That's what they put on the Cheetos. You know how I know that? Because I've been putting it on my face. Everybody's speculation was completely correct.
Inspectors can verify that it is being downblended, and it will be held there in potential future use for Iran. That has been the long-standing position of the
when he wipes it, he does it with like the, oh yeah.
Islamic Republic. Now, here what we have is Trump saying, actually, that would be acceptable.
If I had to think about it, you do too now.
A huge deal whenever it comes to some sort of a understanding. However, let's go back to A3. This is what Crystal's point is that at the very same time—
I can't get over how long this is. What's the TLDR? Jesus.
Very, very long Truth Social post where Trump says negotiations with the Islamic Republic are proceeding nicely. Now, when we fast forward to the bottom line, those countries, it may be possible one or two reasons for not doing so, they will be accepted, but most should be ready and willing and even able to make this settlement with Iran a far more historic event than it should be otherwise.
You can't make— oh, damn it.
And what he says at the beginning there is they must sign on to the Abraham Accords. Now, what are the Abraham Accords? The Abraham Accords, frankly, are one of the main reasons that we're in this mess in the first place.
Yes, and on top of this, the fact that he just he randomly, I mean, if the reports are true, this is actually like funny, because they're sitting there, they're actually making strides in like obtaining peace, right? And he's got all these like leaders of the country on a conference call. And then he's just like, hey, guys, I'm going to throw this one out there. I think that you guys need to join the Abraham Accords. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say that I insist that you do, because if you don't, then you're not going to have any protections from us or any of the benefits of this peace plan. We're not going to let you through the strait. And everybody on the other end was just like silent, to the point where Trump was just like, is that hello?
Just Iran, but October 7th, and also the entire attack by Hamas. What it was is a normalization of relations between the Gulf countries, select signatories, and Israel. And so what Trump is saying here is that in conjunction for a ceasefire between Iran and the United States, that these Gulf countries, all of these regional countries, must normalize relations with Israel without the establishment of a Palestinian state. And so what he's trying to do is a grand bargain. And actually, if you zoom out, it all makes a ton of sense. The deal on its face, if Trump backs down on nuclear dust, if you will, saying not only will they not turn it over to us, but they're basically going to fulfill some JCPOA style agreement with IAEA inspectors and shipping uranium to Russia. That's literally what they did under the JCPOA. If he does, and they've reopened the Straits of Hormuz, which were open already the day before the war, what is the entire international community going to say? You lost, dude. You obviously lost. So what does he need? He needs a bigger grand bargain. And that's what the Abraham Accords also enables him to do. The second thing that it does is it unilaterally disarms the entire Gulf away from the establishment of a Palestinian state. Now, let's be real. Like, they never actually cared that much about a Palestinian state, but to their people, it matters a lot. Not to the governments, but to the actual citizens of these countries. Now, whether they can vote or not doesn't matter. Remember, there's still some popular agency in many of these Gulf monarchies. So in this case, what he's trying to do is to get them to unilaterally disarm on the issue of Palestine and deliver Israel this massive diplomatic victory. Because we're not just here about the UAE, which is the closest ally of Israel, but all of these other regional countries which do not have good relations with Israel, or they don't like Israel all that much, and they have their own domestic populations that they have to worry about. So basically, the entire ceasefire now hinges actually on normalization of relations with Israel and these Gulf countries who are supposed to give this up, even though it has nothing to do with Iran. It's actually another reason why this ceasefire will fail if this is going to remain some top priority from the White House. And this is the second time that he said it so far. So maybe we should take him at his word.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it also fits with just him being an old man and wanting his legacy and to be, world-changing leader, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that really is a big part of why we're in this whole mess to begin with, is his own ego and desire to leave his mark on the world like a dog pissing on his territory. We can put this Axios report up on the screen as well that has some interesting details reportedly from this call. This was a Barack Ravid report here. Trump asked Muslim leaders to join the Abraham Accords after the Iran war ends. Those leaders, especially those of Saudi, Qatar, and Pakistan, who do not have formal diplomatic relations with Israel, were surprised by Trump's request. Quote, there was silence on the line, and Trump joked and asked if they are still there.
That's true.
One of the U.S. officials.
Hello? Are you still there? Hello?
said. So that gives you a sense
This connection. I mean, I don't know what's going on here.
of how shocking this was to at least some of the leaders of, you've got to be kidding me right now while all of this is going on and you're
I'm sorry, guys. You do understand how fucking funny that is, right?
trying to secure some sort of a deal.
They just sat there with crickets.
And we're in this war that is going to be devastating to all of our economies and has really created quite a mess for us. You're also asking us to do something that would be politically toxic to our own populations and normalize relations with Israel. That is,
And he just was winging it.
you know, that was the what you could read in.
Do you think that Stephen Miller was like standing right behind him, just like, sir, you know what you could do? You could have peace in the Middle East right now. Just tell them to join the Abraham Accords. You have to be stern, though. You have to tell them that they have to
that silence on the line there from these leaders. And Sagar, I was just seeing yesterday too that Kushner is also apparently pushing a plan to change the status quo at the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
That, yeah.
And
What?
I mean, listen, what are you setting up here
Damn, dude. That's huge.
for? Because October 7th, and this is not justification, this is analysis, by Hamas's own words, they said a big part of this was the Abraham Accords, which was basically, hey, forget about Palestine, we're all just moving forward. They said we cannot allow the world to forget our cause, so we need to do something dramatic. It was their name for October 7th is the Al-Aqsa flood. That gives you a sense of how important that mosque is in their own view of the world and their own ideology. So not only are you saying, oh, we're going to have the whole region normalize relations with Israel without giving a shit about any Palestinian state or rights for Palestinians, etc.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Saudi Arabia ain't gonna fucking sign anything like that, and they're not gonna fucking get like, dude, are we trying to push them to like side with Iran?
We're also
What are we doing?
going to try to change the status quo at the Al-Aqsa Mosque. I mean, this seems like a recipe for disaster. It also seems like something that just isn't going to happen. I mean, it's far-fetched at this point that, again, that Trump is this close to a deal and we're all just waiting, counting down the minutes before he announces some grand bargain that's going to rescue us from this complete quagmire and disaster that he's gotten us into.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the strikes are happening, look, it's not impossible. And there has been a major give from Trump on the nuclear enrichment issue. But when you're going to demand this Israel normalization of relations through the Abraham Accords, that just dramatically changes the entire process. And again, it's so that he does not have to tell the world how he got humiliated. Yeah. Let's put A4 up here on the screen. Just to get
oh my God, that's exactly what this is. It's that I put it out there. I told them in order to have peace, they need to join the Abraham Accords. Well, guess what? They decided not to. Too bad. We got to go back.
To show you all how beholden to Israel this administration is acting, because now you have basically a background statement, a senior U.S. official, we can do some tea leaves, I'm going to guess from the State Department, who says the Trump administration would support an escalation in Israeli military.
Reminder that this is the dude from fucking Axios. Like, this guy's like essentially, a White House reporter.
Reaction in retaliation to Hezbollah violations of the ceasefire. The U.S. official says Hezbollah has ignored repeated requests to stop firing at Israel, including a recent ultimatum. Israel will never be expected to passively absorb attacks on its forces and civilians. This is not the Biden administration. The official said that since April 17, Hezbollah has fired blah, blah, blah. The U.S. official stresses Hezbollah is entirely responsible for the current situation. It broke the ceasefire on March 2nd and is now intent on denying the Lebanese people a path to peace and reconstruction. According to the official, Hezbollah is concerned about the direct negotiations with the Lebanese government and Israel with the support of the U.S. and sees
if he gets his way, this is the start of a religious war. Yeah.
As an existential threat. A successful ceasefire led by the government of Lebanon would strip Hezbollah of their power.
Yeah, of all the people that like recognize that on the world stage, South Korea was the one that was just like, are we doing this?
And their narrative. And remember that those are two warring factions. You also have here the Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the ground in India backing up Israel's strikes on Hezbollah. Let's take a listen.
What about Lebanon? Is Lebanon going to be part of a deal?
Well, Lebanon, we're working on separately. With Lebanon, we are engaged now. We have a 45-day ceasefire. We've had weekly meetings now and ongoing daily engagements between the government of Lebanon and Israel. The problem is not Lebanon and Israel.
I just realized how large this man's ears are. Holy hell.
The problem is Hezbollah. Just last night, Hezbollah put out a statement calling for the overthrow of the Lebanese government.
Look at him.
And it just reminds you who you were dealing with here. By the way, an Iranian proxy, 100% Iranian proxy.
So he says they're basically backing them up. And then A6, immediately after the U.S. gives a green light, here's what we see. The Prime Minister of Israel says Israel will intensify its strikes on Lebanon's Hezbollah with the backing here of the United States. So we have major strikes.
You get him out of my country.
In Lebanon. We also have, of course, the U.S. strikes on Iran. Now, all of this happening under the guise of an alleged ceasefire. We do not know yet what this is all going to hold. We did have some indications. Let's not forget the Iranian negotiators, Ghalibaf, and the foreign minister were in Doha as yesterday, meeting with the Qataris.
His ears are where Israel has its.
That's very important because the Qataris had come to them previously. The Iranian negotiators
Bring in Marco. We need Marco.
Allegedly,
what do you mean he's not in the country?
They're talking with Qatar about is that Qatar is like the guarantor of some several $1 billion that are
he flies over like Dumbo.
frozen Iranian funds by the United States, so they would need some guarantee for some sort of a release. But as of right now, things are not nearly as optimistic as, let's say, when we were talking 48 hours ago when we did our Sunday update. Trita Parsi, his analysis always worth kind of checking in on. What he said is it's possible that Iran would sign this agreement even with these ceasefire violations with Lebanon, but because Lebanon is being struck by Israel, that Iran would just ruthlessly pound the UAE because it is Israel's greatest ally in the Gulf. And so every time that they would break the ceasefire on Hezbollah, they would break the ceasefire on the UAE and basically dare the United States, you guys want to go full-blown war over Israel and Hezbollah?
Little Marco and his nuclear ears.
Okay, that's fine. We're going to keep pounding the UAE. They get to keep pounding Hezbollah. And if you want us to stop both of those things, then they need...
Write it up. Let's go. Let's make some money on this.
To end. So that's one possible way that this all may go about. But this is the mess that Trump has gotten us into.
Yeah.
And gas still remains at what? Let's see.
It's about $100 a barrel.
$4.49 a gallon here nationally. So
$4.50. How was your Memorial Day weekend? You know, I was looking at the prices too that have gone up significantly.
I've been talking about this. Once you know that it's bad, once they start talking about it.
And certainly part of that is the Iran war.
Oh, weird. Oh, did it hurt your budget? Oh, no. Oh, no. Does this mean that we actually might have to start reporting with a little bit of urgency and kind of feeling like, I don't know, you guys are kind of part of this? Because, like, this is what I've been saying about breaking points. They're dangerously close to like being CNN because of the way that they just do not live the same reality as us.
Not for nothing, Israel is also, they've never abided by the ceasefire in Gaza. They've continued to go on murderous rampages this whole time, but that has also been escalated in recent days, as you pointed out in our breaking news segment with Trita Parsi. So you have Israel continuing to escalate in Lebanon, in Gaza. You have now U.S. strikes in southern Iran, not looking.
She doesn't have a smile. Yeah, I said that. I said once the smile's gone, that means that they're feeling it.
Good for.
Yeah. How was your Memorial Day weekend? That means that she spent a lot of money on Memorial Day and then probably just did her budget and was just like, oh, shit.
A potential deal. And of course, neither the U.S. and Iran, they are not meeting face to face. So how are you going to establish some sort of deal with parties that have negative trust without any sort of face to face conversations? Seems pretty unlikely. But to get the Iranian perspective on this, we can now bring in Professor Mohammad Marandi for his view on these recent events.
All right. I said we weren't going to watch the whole thing. I fibbed. Here is the link for the video that we just watched. And follow Breaking Points if you do not already, or sub to Breaking Points if you don't already. I don't always agree with the way that they cover everything, but you know what? They're one of the better ones. But yeah, actually here, perfect. Before, shit, I can't bring it back. Never mind. All right, well, Trump targets Hassan. Nazis. Yeah, let's do the Hassan bit. Like, we don't know if urgency earlier would have helped, but it could have, or could it have hurt? No. Oh man, I'm just gonna say like that Breaking Points, they are kind of a good barometer for this because they ride that line. Like, they're not making millions and millions. Like, they're not multi-millionaires. I think that they just, like, if they do make $1 million, they like kind of are sitting at like just being millionaires. But that's also like where I swear, like, those are the types of people. They buy these giant fucking property, these lots of property. Then they get surprised when they live somewhere that has high property taxes, and they're just like, oh, my property taxes are too high. I have to pay like a quarter of my income to the property taxes. It's like, okay, like, can we just acknowledge that maybe we should be building more housing instead of having like these giant, like acres and acres just to have one fucking house in the middle that I like, and then on top of it, like, I don't know. The opulence is ridiculous. But what I was saying about like the millionaires kind of feeling it, just remember, they're the ones that like they spend on stupid shit. So when you see them not being like buying a new boat, buying a new car, they're feeling it. So not saying take anything from it except for just that they're feeling it, because it's not like they're feeling it like us. I mean, there is still something where it's just like, wait, you guys are sitting now, you're bitching about the economy, but you know, we've been sitting here eating fucking like and being told to eat ramen sandwiches, and then they won't acknowledge that bread prices are also insane. Whatever, man. Whatever. All right. Oh shit. My bad. Didn't mean to get that. Do it live. There we go. I wish this was a little bit more seamless. There we go. We got Kyle Kulinski. Property taxes are out of control. My place is appraised at 4 times what it should be. So taxes are that much higher. That's how Texas gets away with no income tax. Yeah, I know. That's what I've been saying to everybody that talks about how much like, oh, I don't pay these taxes that you do in Illinois. Yeah, but I also don't pay like as insane of property taxes, even though they are pretty fucking crazy. Like, okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go to bat for Illinois. Illinois is overtaxed. And realistically, we're not seeing anything for it. Like, JB Pritzker comes out and says, we can't do the new CTA expansion without the federal funding, but then also says that we can't suspend the gas tax because we need to fix our roads, which they're not doing. Like, I don't know, guys. There is some, like, actual, how do I word this? Because I'm trying to say this in a way like where Republicans that like talk about this shit, they're not necessarily wrong. It's just the fact that like their whole idea is no taxes. It's just like, you're dumb. And it's like you benefit from things because of taxes. So like just stop. So I guess tax reform would be a great place to start. Let's just say that.
So the fascist, terrorist, imperialist, bloodthirsty death cult.
Let's talk about Hassan now. Taxes are boring.
Of MAGA and the Trump regime, they are now openly targeting political opponents in the most disgusting way imaginable.
Reprioritization is needed. Yeah, but this is where like people always are kind of right about this, where it's like once you get on city council and you see how much money you have, and then you can wait, you're telling me that we get to vote on our own salaries, and then wait, you're telling me that I could reward a whole bunch of contracts of people that I know and it's not necessarily illegal? Huh.
Imaginable. So look at this. Federal officials have allegedly subpoenaed Hassan Piker and Code Pink's Medea Benjamin over aid mission to Cuba. The Treasury Department has targeted the pair as part of an investigation into whether activists violated U.S. sanctions in delivering medicine and medical equipment to Cuba. So here's one of the problems with this. They didn't actually violate sanctions. In fact, they go out of their way and they bend over backwards to make sure they're abiding by all of the rules, all the laws, all the regulations. In fact, as Hassan himself pointed out, this appears to be the case that Fox News or the Trump regime, or both, fell for a viral post that claimed that Hassan was staying at a hotel which is not on the U.S. government approved list, which means he's, economically benefiting.
Considering that he had Twitter on in the Situation Room while they were bombing, this doesn't surprise me.
The regime in Cuba, and therefore it's a crime, and therefore he can be charged. There was some viral right-wing slop post that claimed that. Meanwhile, it's totally untrue, completely and utterly made up. They followed the rules, followed the regulations, went to the approved list of hotels, went, down the path that they're supposed to go down. Meanwhile, there is somebody who actually did violate U.S. law.
All right. We're going to have a little experiment here. when Hassan pops on the screen, I want all you guys to hit your favorite emote and fucking go for it in chat.
In going to Cuba and staying at one of the
Get this chat moving.
correct hotels. The kid's name is Nick Shirley. Yes, Nick Shirley was just in Cuba making some
Only when Hassan's on screen, though.
bullshit propaganda documentary, and he violated the rules and the regulations and the laws. But of course, the chances of the Trump regime going after Nick Shirley are roughly 0%. And the chance of them going after Hassan is, of course, very, very high. Now, by the way, I said allegedly subpoenaed because Hassan has actually not been served a subpoena yet. Neither has Code Pink or Medea Benjamin. None of them have actually been served subpoenas. So there's some speculation that maybe this is Fox News taking a viral post and running with it without actually having sources within the Trump regime, within the government. However,
okay, I don't know why. Let's do it. It's to get the engagement up on this space.
I do fear, even if that is the case, I do fear you will immediately see the Trump regime sort of jump on this and try to bring it to fruition. Because here's the thing, guys. They might even know, oh, this is going to go absolutely nowhere. And, it's going to ultimately end in our humiliation. But that's not the point. It doesn't matter. As long as it's not really about Hassan. It's not really about Code Pink or Medea Benjamin. It's about everybody else who's thinking of bucking the regime. Everybody else who's thinking about helping one of these countries which we are terrorizing and destroying and starving to death.
Well, that's a bitch. All right, never mind. Let's celebrate Kyle's tie. Yeah, emo time. Let's go.
That's the point, is to strike fear into people. In the same way, they went after James Comey multiple different ways. Every single way failed. Instantly fell apart. But the point is the headlines. The point is, the fear that you put in
his mic got stuck under his tie.
MAGA critics, MAGA dissidents. Like, hey, shut the fuck up. Hey, don't criticize us too much. Hey, maybe we'll muck up some charges against you. And of course, the fucking irony of all of this is Trump never shut the fuck up about the political persecution of Biden and the Democrats going after me and all the January 6ers and shit. And it's like, no, you idiot. They went after you because you're actually a criminal. You're charged with 91 crimes. You're a 34-time convicted felon. You actually committed multiple crimes. You found liable in a civil court for tax fraud and insurance fraud and business fraud. You are a career criminal. There's no doubt about it. The January 6ers, how many of them are fucking pedophiles? How many of them are rapists? How many of them are murderers? How many of them assaulted cops? Like, no.
More than statistically you would think.
It's actually upholding the law to go after you idiots. Yeah. And if Biden's Justice Department, if it was so fucking biased and they were politically persecuting everybody, why is it they went after fucking Bob Menendez? Why is it they let charges go against Hunter Biden? Why is it they went after multiple Democrats? It turns out there was no political persecution.
By the way, guys, you guys, we watched the Hunter Biden, Candace Owens interview. It is worth watching.
You're the ones doing the political persecution. I wouldn't want to be Letitia James. I wouldn't want to be James Comey. I wouldn't want to be Fonnie Willis. I wouldn't want to be any of these people who actually did their fucking job. Jack Smith. And we're trying to hold Trump accountable. And now he's like, well, I'm going to make your life a living hell in a fucking mafia boss kind of way just because you inconvenienced me. Get the fuck out of here. So understand something. Why would they target Hassan Piker? Because Hassan Piker is everything they hate and everything they can't control and everything they're scared of. Hassan Piker, he's out there fighting for Medicare for all. He's out there fighting for free college. He's out there fighting for a living wage. He's out there fighting against Israel. Okay, he's out there fighting against the Epstein class who controls the Trump regime. And they can't have that. Yeah. Especially since now he's gaining national prominence, especially since now he's endorsing Democratic candidates. And
yeah, but this is almost like the Streisand thing where it's like they were kind of behind that.
When he does that, those Democratic candidates are going up 10 points, like Abdul El-Sayed, right? So if anything, this is going to backfire. This is going to make Hassan a bigger figure. He becomes a national figure. He becomes more known. He becomes more loved by the Democratic voting base because the Democratic voters already love Hassan for what he stands for if they know him, right? They know him as the tax the rich guy. They know him as the universal health care guy. They know him as the anti-genocide guy. Now he's also being persecuted by the fat, pedophile, imperialist, rapist, con man president, war criminal, fucking asshole. Now all of them are going to go, oh, well, I'm definitely on this guy's side. Again, Medea Benjamin, same thing. We love Medea Benjamin. We love Code Pink. Exact same fucking thing. This just makes them more prominent, more well-known. If you wanted to find a way to get normie Democrats to support Hassan, you couldn't have come up with a better plan. Normie Democratic voters now will love this man. Now this man could fucking run for a high office and win. That's what you need to understand.
Stop.
So...
he's so hyperbolic sometimes that and then he gets surprised when his prediction doesn't come true because he's just like, well, what do you mean? I really got behind this idea that this was way more popular.
Oh,
Like it's Jenks syndrome.
Massive miscalculation.
Like careful with that shit.
Like I said, it is possible that Fox News fell for a viral tweet that's a lie and ran with this, and there wasn't plans to go after Hassan. But my guess is that now the fact that they actually did that, you will see the Trump regime try to scramble to catch up to do something like this. But of course, there's zero case. There's zero case. By the way, stop and think about this. They've not arrested any Epstein-class pedophiles, but they're arresting Hassan, or theoretically going to investigate Hassan and subpoena Hassan and Medea Benjamin for the crime of serving ramen noodles to hungry people, for the crime of delivering diapers and medical supplies and food to people who need the help because our country is illegally embargoing them and starving them and trying to collapse the country. I mean, what a sick fucking joke. So humanitarianism is a crime, but raping children is not, according to these fucking demons, according to these fucking disgusting fucks. I'm so sick of them, bro. I am so sick of these criminals and these terrorists. We're being run by, like, not only do we not live in a meritocracy, we live in an anti-meritocracy. We're being run by the worst people on earth. These people are actually demonic. They're actually satanic. They actually genuinely are evil, and they want pain and violence and destruction for those who even 1% disagree with them. There's not a decent bone in any of these people's bodies, okay? But I'm not done, because we also have this. Look at this. Nick Fuentes says, if Trump wants to win us back, putting Hassan Piker in prison forever would be a good start. 14,000 Groiper likes, ladies and gentlemen. Laura Loomer, the woman who allegedly sucks off the president and controls her, like modern-day Rasputin. President Trump can unite the entire country by having Hassan Piker arrested. It's his destiny. Wow. Also, is that a little play on words I see there? Because a little guy by the name of Destiny, and I do mean little, a little guy by the name of Destiny also is excited about this and thinks it's awesome. This is fucking putrid, wretched, repulsive, disgusting fucking shit. Okay. None of these people believe in anything.
Why are we? What we were, dude? We really do platform some fucking stupid stuff.
None of them believe in anything. Like I said, at the core, they're an empty.
Oh my God, Laura Loomer said this. K. Nick Fuentes. K. Why does he realize that he plays into this
void?
Like, by even following this bullshit
of morality and intelligence. And it's just, I don't like this person because they have more clout than me. So I hope their life is fucking ruined. And I hope the government fucking...
No, it's because they honestly... shut up, dude. No, because I'd be happy if Laura Loomer's life got fucking ruined. Stop like this. Oh my God. Oh my God. I have to play the higher role. I don't actually want Laura Loomer to lose her career. Go fuck yourself, dude.
Destroys them.
Just be honest.
Like, what a sick joke, man.
Kyle, you make so many videos about when a right winger loses their fucking career. Like, put your fucking pearls down.
What about that other guy? What's his name? Too Raw, Too Real, or whatever. He's was a big Kamala stan, and he's out there basically cheering on Trump. Yes, you heard me correctly. Cheering on Trump, and saying like, "Well, you deserve this."
What up, Rich?
Because even though Hassan voted for Kamala, you didn't break out your pom-pom strongly enough and fucking cheer for her. Therefore, you fucking deserve this. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, again, you're the one that's spinning that narrative, and that is so even though there are assholes out there, that is like so simplified that it doesn't fucking help. Like, this is the shit that I'm tired of. This is why I don't watch your videos anymore, Kyle. Like, I hope that you see this, man. Holy crap. Can you tone it down just a little bit? Just a little bit. And focus on the shit that matters. Nick Fuentes and fucking Laura Loomer, you're sitting here like they're the arbiters of all that's holy on fucking Twitter?
The pettiness.
God damn it. You online brain dumbass.
It's the vindictiveness.
You can wear the suit. You can fucking have the nice background, but realistically, you are falling for some of the most terminal online bullshit I have ever seen.
How embarrassing. And you people want to lead a movement? That's what you want to do? You want to lead a movement? You want to bring us out of this fucking fascist hellscape that we're in? The opposite of leaders. These people are deeply, deeply unserious. Again, the fact of the matter is he's being targeted for being a decent person. He's being targeted for being a left-winger. Somebody said,
being targeted because he is the #1 leftist streamer. They are recognizing that he does bigger numbers than a lot of fucking legacy media. He is speaking to the youth. He does have a voice, and that's why they're targeting him.
Just quite literally the poem of like, first they came for the
Are you in Chicago? I was thinking of moving to Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park's nice.
communists, right? Like this, that's what this is. First they came for the socialists. That's what this is. And you're going to sit there and fucking cheer it on? Well, guess what? You're on that list. They make no distinction between you and him. Do you not understand that?
They got the free zoo.
Destiny, Too Raw, Too Real, fucking any. And by the way, let me be clear. There's no Democratic voters are cheering this on. It's only like
Bleach has gone to his head. I mean,
weird
or Bleach has gone to his brain.
media pundit freaks who are way too online. They make no distinction.
Really?
You and Hassan are exactly the same to them. They view,
Kyle.
there's no difference between you guys.
My
You're all left
guy.
of center.
My guy. Woo! Self-awareness is not your forte.
Like, that's all they need to know. They'd throw us all in fucking camps if they could. They're already doing that with ICE. God forbid you're an immigrant. God forbid you make a joke about Charlie Kirk. God forbid you're pro-Palestine. They will.
No, shut the fuck up. The guy that literally made a joke about Charlie Kirk, he got a payout of almost $1 million. Stop. It's almost like MAGA did they fucked around. They found out they flooded the zone a little bit too much, and the federal courts did actually hold. Weird. I know. But we can't look at that because I kind of feel like that might just be a little too much hopium in this, doomer-pilled space. Sorry.
Lock you up or kick you out of the motherfucking country. People have been tortured and raped in fucking CCOT. They're building concentration camps all across this country for the ICE Gestapo thugs, for Trump's paramilitary. And you're going to sit there and cheer on when a prominent left-winger gets targeted for doing humanitarianism? You're going to cheer that on? You're going to support that?
I kind of feel like he lost it with this rant.
No soul, no morality, no ethics, no consistency.
Yeah, well, I'm done. But remember that Kyle is actually seeing growth on his channel, so that's the kind of stuff that they really like. They like it when you go hard in the pain and the fearmonger territory. They love it. All right. Got a clip from a leftist mafia contributor and also a thisspace contributor. Through syndicated content, we got some Rational National talking about AOC and MTG. There we go.
I personally do not trust someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, a proven bigot and anti-Semite, on the issues of what is good for Gazans and Israelis.
Why in the fuck is this how did this become controversial?
Occasionally, I come across some online
Wasn't this clip old? I mean, 2 weeks.
political discourse that is so stupid that I have to turn my phone off and take a nap. And this is one of those stories. But it's also incredibly interesting because of how stupid it is. So I'm going to go into this, get to what started this, apparently, and how some people
That's
online
ancient.
who
In YouTube land, I guess you're right.
now I'm questioning their motives, how some are reacting to it, and just basically top level, some people online who are claiming to be of the left.
It's starting to happen to me where it's like anything not 1.25, I'm just like, this is so slow.
Are defending Marjorie Taylor Greene while at the same time criticizing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay.
And it is so stupid that it is worth doing a video on. So let me first start with what led to an op-ed in the Washington Post that led to more discussions, that led to this discourse, that where it all began. This clip of AOC discussing billionaires, this is on a podcast.
there's a certain level of wealth.
I mean, let's be real. This is still happening though. Like TYT would rather side with MTG than AOC at this point, which
And
so many acronyms.
Accumulation that is unearned, right? You can't earn $1 billion.
That's right.
You just can't earn that.
That's exactly correct.
You can get market power, you can break rules, you can do all sorts of things.
That's the Broad City lady, right?
You can abuse labor laws.
Yep.
You can pay people less than what they're worth.
Yep.
But you can't earn that, right?
That's
And
right.
so you have to create a myth that since you didn't earn that, you have to create a myth of earning it.
So this led to this op-ed in the Washington Post. You can earn $1 billion. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a low opinion of human potential, which we're talking about the Jeff Bezos paper here. Like this is so ridiculous. Her point,
which he does, like he has said that he does monitor like editorial, so
is well taken. If you have $1 billion or more, you didn't earn that in the sense that other people, how they earn their wages, how they earn income by actually working. To earn $1 billion or more, you, by the very nature of the amount of money that is, at some point along the way, you have to step on people, you have to abuse labor laws, you have to get around the restrictions that most people have on their ability to make money.
Yep.
You have to do that to be able to accumulate an insane amount of wealth. This gets to my favorite website, which is what does $1 billion look like? I think it's .website. I'll link to it below the video. But I've shown this before. If you've seen this, you can skip ahead. I'll put timestamps below. But what does $1 billion look like? So think of this as $1,000. Here's 1,000 pixels, $1,000. Here's 1,000,000 pixels, $1 million. There you go. It's a lot.
Hmm.
How about $1 billion? I am going as fast as my scroll wheel will allow. You can see the bar on the side there. We will get there eventually. I think it takes maybe, what is it, a minute now? I've done this a few times. Let's stop here, see where we're at.
This works well with normies. It does.
We're at 671 million.
The grain of sand one was the one that really did it. I remember that going pretty mega viral.
All right. Almost there.
Holy shit, dude.
Almost there. There we go. Okay. There we go. This is the end. That is just $1 billion. How many people do you know that have billions or a billion? Just have 1 billion. Many of them have several billion.
Hundreds of billions.
Have hundreds of billions.
Yep.
There are lots of these people who have obscene amounts of wealth.
But let's make sure that we don't tax them and we don't even have this discussion because that would just be a bridge too far.
While there are people who are living on the street.
Yep.
If you want to argue that
but they didn't work hard enough, man. Come on, dude. That's American society. And we're the ones that are supposed to really remind them just how bad they fucked up.
you should be able to earn.
Oh, they're also, statistically, they're all addicts, except, 37% are actually addicts. And the other ones are just people that are what they now call home insecure because they're essentially living out of hotel rooms.
$1 billion. I would first argue that if you believe that, how about first we house the homeless and ensure people have food and can survive? And then we can get to you earning $1 billion. But let's start with
Well, housing the homeless actually, this is something that I think is uncomfortable to bring up, but it's no, systematically, it is kind of no, we also have to make sure that they don't end up homeless again. So that means that, making things affordable and having housing security that's a big one.
the basics. That's my thought on this.
I mean, I understand that this is kind of, I do kind of speak against this where I don't like putting too much on the plate, but that's one of those specific ones where it's just okay, but if you hit that, that first goal, you're going to run into these problems down the line. And this is something you can prepare for.
But that led to that op-ed where in the piece they say the likely 2020 presidential candidate is arguing that there is no idea anyone can have or company anyone can start or value anyone can generate for others that could possibly be worth $1 billion. This gets to...
Well, no, the thing is, even if they make these billions, you have to make them pay out to the people. Like the people that are making them, like the fact that Amazon, they don't pay their workers well at all. They don't treat them well at all, but they have all the money in the fucking world to do so.
The quote.
That is also something we should probably bring up.
Or I should say the clip from this discussion with David Axelrod. And you'll see where this goes.
You know, it's funny because in this op-ed that Jeff Bezos paid for in the Washington Post, there was this line that you had mentioned earlier about, well, as a potential 2028 contender, XYZ. And in the context of that, it was very clear this was a veiled threat, right? So it was the elite saying, if you want this job, you just stepped out of line. And we want you to know where the real power is. And it's in the modern day barons who own the Post and own the algorithms, and we'll make an example out of you. And what's funny about that is that they assume that my ambition is positional. They assume that my ambition is a title or a seat. And my ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. And
by that logic, Trump is doing a good job.
presidents come and go.
I'm kidding.
Senate, House seats, elected officials come and go. But single payer health care is forever. A living wage is forever.
Nothing is forever in America anymore. I'm sorry. The Supreme Court kind of proved that.
That's right.
Sorry, I'm not trying to play the pessimism game now, but shit.
They're forever.
All right, you know what? I see me.
Women's rights, all of that.
All right. So this is a clip that I think makes AOC look pretty good. She speaks to the issue of billionaires controlling media and what kind of discourse comes out of that, where they assume everyone has ambitions to be president at all times. She speaks to her own ambition, what actually moves her. And this is not the clip that got all the attention. This is not the clip that went viral. In fact, I only found this clip because of the other clip that people were freaking out about, which we will get to now, because this is where the discourse comes into play. Here is AOC talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I care about results. I care about results. Now, there are certain places certain areas where I don't think that we should ignore some folks' record on some of these issues, right? It's about where we trust intent, where we trust where those outcomes are going.
I agree to an extent. Once socialized medicine is here, good luck trying to take it away.
I personally...
Yeah, I guess you're right.
...do not trust someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, a proven bigot and anti-Semite, on the issues of what is good for Gazans and Israelis. I don't think that it benefits our movement in that instance to align the left with white nationalists. I don't think it serves us. And so I think it's about looking at the context, the place, the results, the outcomes, intentions, and where we think that train would go.
Look at Canada. They're losing it right now.
But as far as what someone says about me, I could care less. And
let's be real. There's a push around the world to make right-wingers to put right-wingers in power, but there's also this push to just be but it's the taxes that are killing you. Your taxes are too high. You're paying for the takers. And too many people in England, Canada, they think the same bullshit, and they don't understand that they can literally go to America to see just how the policies that they are willing to vote on and to buy into this bullshit. you know, they could see it at work here if they just took a quick vacation.
You know, I think it's really about what our outcomes are. And to be honest, there are some areas where things will not get.
Turns out the takers are the wealthy. They don't see it that way because they're just like, no, because if you're going to demonize wealth, then you're demonizing the whole idea of success. You're just jealous. You're just jealous.
If they're partisan, because they are anti-establishment. There is bipartisan consensus on keeping and protecting stock trading in Congress. And so it's going to require massive bipartisan consensus of people willing to come together across those differences to get it done.
Okay. This is where the online brain comes in, because I truly believe to most people, this was completely innocuous.
It was.
You have AOC bringing up Marjorie Taylor Greene and the idea of, you know, what her intentions actually are, what she's actually said in the past, and we'll get to some of that. And still at the same time discussing the need to have to work potentially with Republicans when it comes to passing something like a ban on stock trading, which has bipartisan support. So, and I should say certain bipartisan support. Obviously, most of Congress still does not support that. But again, completely innocuous. But the freak out was amazing. And now look, it's one thing for, I don't know, the right wing. I don't think
AOC is pretty performative. That's politics.
The right wing even cares.
If you're not being performative in a way, then honestly, you don't have much reason to do politics. Like Zoran is performative.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene anymore because of the fact that she's no longer in Congress. And
if you can do, you know, that performance with also having some substance, that's a good mix.
It's criticizing Trump.
I don't know. All right, are you one of these, like, Chuck? Are you looking for reasons to hate her? I mean,
but
I don't know.
This
man.
is. Let me just get to baseline.
Like I said, this is the stuff that's getting people to just disengage from politics in general.
What should be obvious. So, as Mason stated here, I can't.
Again, going into 2028, we're in the middle of a fucking a primary season, a midterm season. Like, no, if we're not going to start working to put up somebody that we can all kind of support, even though there's going to be some stuff that we disagree with.
I can't believe AOC is hesitant to work with
their voting record. Are you talking about the present on the Marjorie Taylor Greene one, or what's the other stuff that
a woman who has stock?
I don't know, man. Honestly, fuck it. I guess that did it. I'm broken. Fuck it. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? Okay.
Harassed her, lied about her, supported ICE, praised Alex Jones, attacked queer people, brought a
Jesus
QAnon,
Christ.
did CrossFit.
All right, man.
I'm not sure why that's in there, but that's funny. Very selfish of her. Shame on AOC. So again, yeah, obviously we should be questioning crazy Marjorie Taylor Greene, who posted this after Zoran Mamdani won the New York City primary.
Yeah.
To become mayor.
Oh, but TYT can't see. Like, no, what?
Posted June 25th, 2025, less than a year ago. Just an insane person, an insane racist individual.
Yeah.
And posts like this, President Trump, this is from, just to be clear about the dates here, January 15th, 2025, a year ago. President Trump has ended the war against Israel. So much.
Who has a perfect voting record? That you're willing to vote for at this point? Like, honestly, man.
Cheer. First of all, ended the war against Israel. Second of all, ended the war. Like, what are we talking about? In his first term, the world was at peace. And now with him as commander in chief, we can get there again. This is just a year ago. Insanity. Here is October 2023, after Israel's genocide began. I hope every pro-Hamas student that walks out of their classes today protesting against Israel gets a failing grade. We need to defund all colleges and universities that promote these anti-Semitic protests. Stop rewarding bad behavior. This one from...
I'm glad he's doing this.
September 21st, 2021.
Wow.
Inside this building tonight, Nancy Pelosi is defunding our ally Israel's Iron Dome so that Ilhan Omar, AOC, Rashid Tlaib can cheer on Hamas
If
bombing
nothing,
Israel
she's an
and brag
easier
to the radical
opponent. People more left than her.
Islamic donors.
The thing is, she's literally like, as far as her policies and her positions, she's like right there. What the fuck? Oh my God, you're never going to be fucking happy. Jesus Christ. No, honestly, like this went from being like a little bit fun to like, oh my fucking God.
Or really the Jihad Squad. A completely insane person. Here's another one. Proud to stand with Israel alongside my Republican colleagues this morning on Capitol Hill. It goes on and on and on. This is from May 2021. On and on and on. Meanwhile, AOC at the time slams Biden for defending Israeli airstrikes, saying his statements dehumanize.
You'll build coalitions by constantly just, being unhappy with people and then just like not taking the good with the bad. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I mean about how she's one of the ones that, are you really going to sit here and say that her voting record is that fucking bad in context to everybody around her in the squad? Dude, seriously? What the fuck?
Palestinians and can fuel violence. New York Post.
I gotta be honest, man. This is the stuff that gets people to disengage like that. Seriously, because that's pessimism, right? That's true fucking pessimism. And really, it's just annoying because it's just like, oh, yay. I'm kind of excited for her to get, have some traction. Yay. I'm glad to see her on the national stage, getting some fucking prominence. I'm glad that they're even putting her in this conversation. And then just immediately she's not, her position. I know her voting positions and her voting record. I'm not really that happy with her.
AOC slams.
That's how it comes off, man.
Biden for Israel support and taking the side of the occupation. And AOC pleads for Biden to end.
It's enough for me to say she's performative, though.
And Israel aid amid unfolding genocide in Gaza. The time is now to force compliance with U.S.
Okay, so is Hassan not performative?
Law and the standards of humanity.
Yikes.
Two very different people, two very different records. Clear where each side, each person is, and what side they're on, and who you can actually trust based on their track record and who you can't. Yet still, this is the discourse that came out.
Yeah.
And I'm highlighting dates here because these all came out shortly after this Washington Post op-ed that came out on the 7th. Again, I'm not saying there's a connection here. We're going to get to how narratives are created in online spaces.
So you're going to see Brianna Joy Gray, and then you're going to see TYT. I'm just going out on a limb here.
For example, I covered when the shooting happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and the discourse coming out of that from everyone on the right was about the ballroom. There are coordinated efforts to try and put certain narratives out there based on certain events, certain things that happened. I don't know if that's the case here, but the timing is suspect. So Ashley writing here.
A little bit.
Y'all can say whatever you want about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but at least she believes in something and is willing to fight for it. AOC, on the other hand, seems more focused on protecting her place in the establishment than taking real risks. AOC spent 2024 lying for the Biden administration. I just showed you. 2024. I just showed you her calling out Biden, but okay. But again, these are so-called left-wing accounts online, gaining traction with bullshit like this. Another one. AOC has less of a spine than Marjorie Taylor Greene. Again, check.
This is the stuff that makes me just legit just go like, okay, click.
The dates. Another one here.
Turn off Twitter.
I disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on a number of issues, but she broke with the president of her party on Israel's genocide and the Epstein files and paid the price for it. AOC did not completely break with Biden or Harris, yet she clearly called out the Biden administration while Biden was president. The issue being, of course, Biden is a Zionist, was never actually going to do anything to stop Israel's.
No, everybody's buying into the narrative that she didn't join MTG and Ilhan Omar on the the vote that was totally going to win with 7 people.
Genocide.
So she would have been the 8th person to vote on this, and she voted present. She didn't even vote no to send aid to Israel.
But you have these people defending. It's one thing if you want to say, hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene has now.
You can literally say that Marjorie Taylor Greene's good on this one issue, and yes, we can pay attention to her on it. It's like the way that I say this about TYT, where it's just like, yeah, when it comes to the Palestinians and the Gaza issue, yes, TYT actually does good reporting on it, but that's it.
Now seen the light on this singular issue.
Because now they're idiots like this, where it's just like, Marjorie Taylor Greene's technically better on Gaza. Maybe we need her to be the voice of the left.
And I'm glad she has. Okay. It's another to defend this lunatic while at the same time criticizing somebody that I would assume you agree with on 99% of issues in AOC.
Yeah, but that 1%, guys, that 1%, that one
it's just it's having the two in the single post to me that is so weird. And there's a lot more, by the way. Like I just took out 3 examples. As Kareem Rafai writes here, there's an entire contingent of so-called leftists defending Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Technically, it'd be a face turn
Over the most prominent leftist elected official in the country. In case
why'd she leave power?
You're wondering how far the horse.
You think you'd want to use power? Yeah, it's almost like it's being used disingenuously. She's being used disingenuously. Cenk is using her disingenuously. Yeah, it's a good word for this.
Who has gone? Mehdi Hassan responding to a lot of the backlash to AOC, saying the number of lies being told by AOC, her politics, her views, her record on this website this weekend is insane. Some self-proclaimed leftists want to undermine and taint the most viable and popular potential leftist candidate for president.
Yep, it's almost like they're a fucking psyop. Like I said, I'm not even sure if they're actually getting paid, but like when I hear Brianna Joy Gray, I genuinely just want to tell her, like, shut the fuck up.
President in 2028, also insane. Waleed Shahid getting to what
cool. Okay, so now we're just gonna like it's literally that fucking like you're never gonna be happy.
Been implying.
And the thing is, it's not gonna help anybody. Like we're just gonna so by all this logic, we're just going to status quo Trump.
I'm wondering.
It's easier for us to be opposed apparently.
About with this post saying, I know someone who works at a risk management firm who told me that influence ops he'd witnessed in other countries look something like go after the most popular elected officials critical of XYZ. For example, AOC critical of billionaires, make them look hypocritical or fake among their own base, neutralize whichever elected officials voters might actually organize around, bots, TikToks, rage bait. The sudden social media surge behind certain presidential candidates in fall 2024 and their equally sudden disappearance the morning after election day is worth sitting with.
Yep.
So this gets to these sort of coordinated efforts, at least online, to try and create a version of somebody that isn't actually the version that we see in reality. So when you see very similar posts, much like the ballroom posts, similar posts here, where it's about comparing AOC to Marjorie Greene and trying to claim that one is stronger than the other one, that somehow Greene is the one that you should trust, while AOC you should be critical of, you have to wonder what is behind.
Yeah, thank you.
This almost concerted effort to.
Are they that contrarian or are they getting paid?
I
mean, I'm now wondering, it's like, who's paying these people?
Push a certain view. So let me get to Hassan's thoughts on this, because I always feel like he's a good palate cleanser, just to get an idea of the baseline, what somebody who's the most prominent leftist streamer thinks about this.
If you make an honest assessment off of like every legislative action that AOC has done in her career, every legislative action that she's ever taken in her career, and then compare it to Marjorie Taylor Greene's track record, and you still think Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually better than AOC, you're genuinely a dumb person. I don't know what to even explain to you. Like, I don't even know how we can have a conversation at that point. I do give Marjorie Taylor Greene credit for being an unlikely ally in this issue. The problem with AOC is that there's so much misinformation and people's brains shut off when they think about AOC on the left. We are far more ruthless to people who are ideologically closest to us. Not
thank you.
To say that she's like there, not to say that she's like 100% there, not to say that she's infallible. Like working tirelessly for a ceasefire is a perfectly valid critique about what AOC has said and done. Aligning with Biden and telling Biden not to drop out. These are things that
Doesn't Twitter pay certain people for impressions? Yep.
Criticized. Other things that I've criticized were specifically to even allow Marjorie Taylor Greene to be the correct voice on defensive and offensive weapons distinctions in Congress, something that AOC is now on board with, right? These are problems, certainly, in the way that AOC communicates. But the way people treat it, they don't have a consistent framework that they analyze politicians on. It turns into, I don't like this person, and here are a million reasons why. Many of those millions are just exaggerations off of like what she has done that is worthy of criticism, that turns into red lines that people design for themselves, that they don't actually hold other people to the same standard.
So I completely agree with Hassan. And this speaks to this exact discourse with AOC here, because the red line that people have created for themselves when it comes to AOC often comes.
Good one, David. Seriously, like for real.
Down to this quote from what she said at the DNC about Kamala Harris. So at the time, again, this is the DNC. This is before the election, a few months before the election between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. AOC said she, speaking of Harris, is working tirelessly to secure a ceasefire in Gaza and bringing the hostages home. Clearly, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden didn't do anywhere near enough to end what Israel was doing. They could have cut off weapons. They could have cut off support. There was a lot that they could do with leverage that the U.S. government has in that whole situation that they simply didn't do. Now, I would put that more on Biden than Harris, but regardless, Harris was there. So they point to this and say, oh, well, she's full of shit. Look at this quote. Without adding the context, once you're in the race, once the election is a few months away and the choice is Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, it's not all that surprising to have an elected Democratic official come out to support the Democratic candidate against a complete lunatic in Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but again, we can focus on her voting present on that one vote. But this, like, this is what I was talking about. We focus on the dumbest shit.
Quote like this from a speech. This
Whatever,
speech would have,
man,
got little play to begin with.
What'd I do?
The idea that this is the quote that people hold on to criticize and try and suppress AOC while uplifting Marjorie Taylor Greene, to me, is so completely insane.
Yeah.
And that gets us to, as well, this last thing here. I'm not going to read through all this, but I'll link to it below. But this is Ruel Roman. This is the Palestinian-American elected official who was denied a speaking spot at the DNC by the Harris campaign.
Mm-hmm.
This is someone that absolutely should have been allowed to speak, but was not allowed to speak. Here she is coming out to defend AOC and discuss what AOC has been doing behind the scenes to help her and other people in Georgia. So when you have someone like this who has a good reason to be critical or angry at the Democratic Party, angry at Kamala Harris, angry at AOC for maybe not doing enough to get her on the stage, when you have someone like this coming out to defend AOC, I think this says a lot about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. If you followed this discourse at all, I don't blame you if you haven't, because I truly believe this is just very much super online.
It is.
Discourse around this entire thing. I don't think anybody who's not on Twitter or on social media was aware this was going on. But it's just worth digging in to see
I mean, it did kind of hit YouTube like proper.
How certain narratives are created and how they are utilized by people that actually are threatened by AOC's power, like the billionaires, including the ones that wrote the op-ed for Jeff Bezos's Washington Post. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and...
Hell yeah. Everybody. I think we already got him in the pipeline, but I will make sure that you guys can go follow the Rational National. As I said, he is a syndication or a syndicated show here on This Space. Helps us, get some more eyes on the channel. All right. There we go. All right, we have a status quo update with Da Woke Farmer. Apparently, he is on trial for saying "F you, Nazi" to an ICE agent. So, kind of interested to see what the actual details of this case are, because I know nothing about this. I do know that they were targeting him for stuff at the Whipple building in Minnesota. But yeah, going for speech now, that's a little odd. It's so fucking disgusting how our politicians cuck themselves to for a foreign country. It really is. It really is. But with that discourse specifically, it was kind of getting dude, because I do this, I was already I was seeing it. I was seeing people so ready to turn on AOC. And this is where I kind of came at it with this attitude of just are we looking for reasons to hate the people that we should be supporting? It really gets a little mentally taxing. Oh, excuse me.
Decisions, but I believe that's protected under the First Amendment, rights. Fuck you, asshole! Fuck you! I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Oh wow, yeah, he was literally
covering what the corporate media covers up.
This is Will Allen Duprat reporting for Status Quo here in DC, and we are with
William Scott Kelly, also known as DeWoke Farmer online.
And what brings us to the D.C. Superior Courthouse today?
Today, I'm fighting a trial. I was charged with two charges of disorderly conduct at the White House in December at a protest.
Yeah, fuck you, you fucking Nazi piece of shit. Fuck you, you traitorous bitch. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you. I am not doing anything wrong. I am not doing anything wrong. I am not doing anything wrong. You are violating my constitutional right. You are violating my
Actually, yeah, that's a blatant violation.
So I'm here, fighting a trial, standing for my First Amendment rights.
And how do you feel like this day of trial went?
It's hard to tell at this point. A lot of arguments were made, but the fact of the matter is my protest style is agitational, it's loud, it's vulgar.
Serve in the military, have you ever done anything for this country?
That's okay.
No.
Stand before God.
Oh, God. Oh, people are all angry because a U.S. citizen was shot in cold blood yesterday.
And they're trying to say that my loud, my vulgar, yelling and calling people Nazis is a crime. And I really don't think it is. The First Amendment is protected speech. And, unless you're making a threat, actually threatening someone, it should be protected under our First Amendment right to, peacefully assemble, to practice our free speech.
Can you just give us a brief overview of what really occurred that day?
So I was protesting the White
People want things to be their way instead of being willing to compromise with everyone across the political spectrum, and it's a horrible hurdle.
House Christmas reception at the at the White House, and basically I was protesting anybody that supports Donald Trump, anybody going to that event, down to the Secret Service, anyone that's helping keep Donald Trump uplifted, keep him able to support, keep him able to continue to violate the Constitution, to violate our rights, to attack the people. I pretty much was scolding them for their bad decisions, using my First Amendment right. And I did raise my voice, and I did, tell people they were Nazis for what they're supporting. But I believe that's protected under the First Amendment, rights.
What are you doing here? While they take our health care away, you're laughing. Fuck you, you fucking Nazis. Fuck you, you fucking traitors.
And I think that, these Secret Service agents don't understand that the First Amendment. They don't understand the actual law. And they're making an argument that I was, inciting violence when it was, the farthest from the truth.
Do you think that there is an increasing attempt by the administration, by the powers that be, to intentionally suppress the First Amendment in support of their own power?
Oh, no, of course. It's undeniable at this point. Even ICE agents in Minneapolis were told they were given a quota to arrest more protesters. They were labeling us as, violent terrorists and being told, well, you need to arrest more protesters. In fact, I was arrested in Minnesota at a Whipple the detention facility for standing on the side of the road with a megaphone. And I got those charges dropped already, and I'm suing for wrongful arrest. I was arrested at a church at a protest of David Easterwood, an ICE agent who's our...
Like I said, guys, the optics is all they're going for, but you want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse? This is its own case. This is where somebody, you know what? Maybe this is what I need to do. Maybe I'm a content creator. I have the platform. I have a mobile rig. I should probably just go and say, okay, how much is this costing the taxpayers, especially if they pay out? Because then it's just like, hey, so are we going to investigate the waste, fraud, and abuse that ICE is creating by flooding the court system and just paying out from the taxpayers?
Also,
what's up with that?
So being a pastor,
it's almost like they should know the law, and it's almost like this is what we were warning about.
We are being targeted for our First Amendment rights. They are trying to squash these rights.
We are. Why are you? Do you believe in the Constitution? Oh, absolutely. So what? They violate the Constitution every single fucking day, but you believe in it? How dare you represent that flag? How dare you hold that American flag, you Nazi bitch?
The whole point of my protest is to get awareness by using my First Amendment, by being loud, by not necessarily being aggressive, but by being offensive, by telling people my catchphrase or whatever you want to call it has always been "fuck you, Nazi." I'm scolding these people for their bad decisions that have led us to where we are now, to the Voting Rights Act being gutted, to humans being dragged into concentration camps, whether they're citizens or immigrants, it does not matter. So I think that my style of protest is yes, it's very aggravating, it's agitational, and that is on purpose, because I think that's one of the only ways we can raise awareness at this point. I don't think standing on the side of the road and having a parade at this point is going to cut it. I think we need more civil.
Eventually they won't be able to pay out for abuses. That's the problem. So that town in Tennessee that had has to pay out $825,000 to that guy that got arrested for the Facebook post. They're now claiming that will bankrupt the town.
Disobedience.
So now they're kind of asking him like, can you just forgo that? And he said, no fucking way.
Whether it
You figure it out is what he literally said. He's just like, yeah, I'm taking that money and I'm moving now because this is your fuck around and find out moment.
be from blocking, access to detention centers or by raising your voice and
They're trying to appeal the decision, but it's it's very likely to fail.
calling people out for their support of this fucking insanity.
Now, I understand from your post about this trial today that you were offered a plea deal.
I'm taking your town and I'm moving. Yep.
And you've decided to decline that. Can you tell me what motivated you to decline the plea deal?
Well, I don't believe I did anything wrong. Yes, I'm loud. Yes, I'm vulgar. Yes, I'm offensive. But to say that I was inciting violence, that I was causing fear is
good for him not to take the plea. Oh my God.
There's nothing farther from the truth.
He's making the attorneys work.
I don't understand how they could say that I'm causing fear when I'm holding a phone and I'm just, raising my voice. That is not enough. I'm not threatening people. I'm not telling someone, hey, I want to fight you. Hey, fuck you. I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah. But now you're literally like, you have other people saying like, yeah, you know what? Those threats, it's him using his First Amendment.
I'm telling them, hey, fuck you for your decision to vote for Donald Trump. Fuck you for your decision to continue to support Donald Trump. So I'm just practicing my First Amendment rights, and I hope that the court will see that.
So you're going in there and supporting a pedophile and a traitor. That's how you're celebrating America? That's what you have to say. Look at you.
I understand that some people might be offended by that. They might think, oh no, the poor children. But the fact of the matter is maybe some children will wake up to their parents being supporters of fascism, being supporters of people that are, literally building concentration camps across our nation.
And do you see maybe a type of irony or something similar to that in the fact that, the far right often purports to be proponents of free speech and yet end up kind of being the ones behind a lot of these acts of suppression of free speech?
Well, they're always, what's the word I'm looking for? They're always projecting what they're actually doing. And so I think that them calling out the repression of the First, Amendment on their part, acting like MAGA and white people are some, treated badly, are being repressed, is just a projection of what they're actually doing to us. And they're using.
You're never going to win by saying abolish police. I'm sorry. In America, it's just not tenable. You say reform police, but I have had a big tirade about this where we got like on the left, the second that they said, abolish the police or
using the full force.
Like, oh God, what was the actual term?
The law to do that repression.
I was just like, guys, again, you could sell this idea, but Jesus Christ, you're not going to sell that to mainstream people, especially people that live in fucking cities.
Do you have any other thoughts you'd like to share with us right now?
I just want to tell the world, don't
defund the police.
Don't be intimidated. Continue to practice civil disobedience. We need more of this. Don't be scared. They're not some Nazi regime that's going to chop your head off at this point, but it might get there. So get loud now. Get off your couches now and practice civil disobedience.
Yeah, but like I said, it's better to say things like reform the police. Like half of politics is marketing, guys. Like I've gone on about this on my own show. I think that some people know that this is something that I've worked in for a while, and yeah. Like half of politics is marketing and selling your ideas, right? That's why you see people like Kat Abu-Ghazaleh did a great job. Actually, I'm glad that I have all this stuff here still, because this is proving my point. Look at all this marketing. Look at it. Like this is literally what politics is. But this shit, you see the fonting, just everything, standing up to Trump and ICE, like that kind of stuff. People pay attention to that shit. So when you give the Republican side of our country the ammunition to say, look at these radicals, especially during the George Floyd situation where, on the news cycle, I don't believe that there were, riots everywhere the way that they I know there wasn't, because they were saying the same thing about Chicago, where it was like, dude, it was like one block where people got a little rowdy. But they were acting like, there were city takeovers and blah, 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 blah. people get mad at it getting watered down too. No. A small amount of people get mad at it being watered down. The problem is you really need to start thinking of it this way, like fractionally, where it's like, okay, this is where the compromise comes. Do you compromise on that and just say, all right, you know what? Fine. I guess this will piss off, PSL and the fucking, far left, but this is the sacrifice where it's like, does it bring in the suburban moms and the people that are the larger voting contingent just to kind of go reform the police? And then when we actually win, we institute some policies to hold police accountable. This is where, again, like, you could make arguments that the body camera thing hasn't actually panned out the way that we've wanted it to, because honestly, it does kind of create some red tape there. But we're all lefties here. No, I understand that. I'm not talking. It's not about talking to Republicans. I'm talking about what I call the no kings contingent, where we call them libbies. The libs. Like, I'm here to say ACAB. I mean, honestly, I do believe that. But this is where I'm also saying you're not going to abolish the idea of a fucking police force. There are fucking crazy people out there, plain and simple. And these fucking people have, like, if there is no police force, they are going to end up hurting people. You do need to have something there. Now, whether it's the police force that we have it in the way that we have it, no. I do think that having more social workers is the main goal here. We need more people to be the border between the two. And it's the same thing with, like, kind of like you said, defunding the police. I would say, again, great in theory and great in practice, but it's just not what I would have put out there as the slogan, whereas that should be the mission. The mission should be to not defund the way that, because most people hear defund the police and they immediately think like, oh, you just want to abolish the police. It's literally about like, no, take away their fucking military toys. Like, we really need to kind of like think about this, but why the call out? Sorry, it's literally, or I should have said DSA, fine, whatever. I'm saying just far left, like what they consider far left groups. But I know, guys, that I just speak to it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but fucking A, I don't feel like I'm wrong on this one. I think that because I've gone out and I have taken the temperature on this one. I've had enough in real life conversations with fucking voters about this stuff and about my politics and about like what would get them on board. Like, sometimes it's that dirty word, compromise. But immediately people like start thinking like, oh my God, it's like you're just going to bring in MTG. Like, it's not that kind of fucking compromise. What up, Dennis? I know it's you. How you doing, Dennis? Good to see you. But that's where I'm saying, like, it's about winning the election and then going and doing the things. It's about then proving that with these policies, you can be popular. Like, this is where I think Zoran Mamdani is kind of the model here. He really is doing well as far as implementing his policies, bringing actual change to New York that the people of New York are feeling. So, Pep, do you know abolish police isn't about getting rid of policing? I understand that. I understand that. The average person doesn't fucking understand that. Why do I always have to beat my head against a fucking wall to get people to understand that it's bad fucking marketing? Can you just take the L on this one and admit that you might have fucked up by saying defund the police and making that the crux of the fucking argument? Because most people, like your fucking moms, dads, and your average fucking Americans, they hear that and they're just like, it's a little extreme. I don't feel like I can really get behind that. Whereas I said, the easy fix was reform the police. That would have been one of those ones where it's just like, okay, it's a good message. It gets people to go like, yeah, you know what? We should probably reform the police because it definitely is something that needs to happen. But can we ever talk about this stuff without you exploding about the marketing, please? No, because it's literally the main issue, Sylvie. It is how can I talk about this issue and not bring up the marketing? Because that's what it is. Do you need me to call it something else? I mean, fucking A. Like I said, going out there with just a poster with your fucking words on it technically is marketing, right? Yeah. This is why MAGA was good at it. Trump is good at the fucking marketing aspect. He gets people like with the fucking buzz lines. This is Pep Energy. You can't unpep the pep. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to also like, this is one of those things I do get a little preachy on specifically because I understand it. Like, I understand the brains of people like that. I understand marketing. I literally like, I trained to do marketing. Like, this is where it's like you have to kind of understand your enemy and the tactics that they're using, and you have to either apply the same tactics if they're successful, or you need to just change your tactics to kind of outwit them. Like, I think Pep is right about marketing and broad audiences, but my point was small. Yeah, okay. So no, okay. So if you're just talking about broadly what like in this space, literally, talk about marketing, eh? But I like to think of this where, like, because people talk about coalition building, right? I like to talk about that too. The problem is I recognize that it's non-voters. It's people that are already kind of tuned out of politics. So you don't want to online bring these people. Like, that's the biggest thing. Because you know how I learned this? Trial and error. I learned this from people just tuning the fuck out. And then I started getting a little more intuitive where I just started asking them uncomfortably, by the way. It wasn't something that was easy to do, where I was just like, hey, what is it? Like, what is it about me or like my message that is causing you to just disconnect from politics? Because they even said, they're like, oh, sometimes it comes off as preachy, sometimes, and then it's like the other side of it is realistically the ideas aren't that popular, man. Like, you guys are out there, like, it's always some like radical, like radical change idea, and I'm all for healthcare, but then you're out there saying get rid of the police. Like, that's the type of shit I'm talking about, where it's just like, fuck. And that does make me think like, okay, we did kind of fuck up on that, because if we're losing the people that would come out and vote for the Medicare stuff, and then also like thinking about it where I'm like, okay, if we just hit our power level on the police thing, we could have just done this had we gotten into power. The problem is we shoot ourselves in the foot before we can even get to power. David Dole was kind of saying that, where he was like, yeah, like we tend to fall for some of these online things where all of a sudden people just go, you know what? It's better if I don't even fucking vote. It's better if I don't even engage. And it's like, but here you are, almost 2 years into Trump, and we're still doing okay. Someone mentioned the concept of you go off about it being bad optics, and I feel that's a good way to discourage people from wanting to interact. What do you mean? Someone mentions a concept. Are you talking about here? Because I'll be honest, like, it's because it's already been tried. Like, we're talking about something that literally started 6 years ago. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know. It didn't fucking really pan out, I agree with Carly. I mean, I actually agree with her too. Like, I know I'm getting a little preachy here, but this is like where I'm saying it's uncomfortable to think about. It's uncomfortable to think about the idea that it's like, you know what? We might have gone a little hard on that one, and it fucking failed. Like, this is where I also have, like, I look at my failures in life and try to learn from them and grow. I feel like sometimes in politics, I don't feel that same energy. A lot of people, they stay stuck, specifically after Trump's win. That was the one where I was like, okay, guys, it's time to pivot. Like, now's the time to pivot. Like, you got to bring people in. You got to fucking do this thing where I know it sucks, but you got to work with some people that you don't want to work with. It's just a fact. And, I kind of feel like if we don't get to that point, then it kind of, then what? Then what? Then what are we doing? We're fighting fascism forever, and that's, I said this in the Discord actually about like how a lot of people were kind of feeling, down on politics in general, and just like how there is this like general malaise. And then, the doomer side of things was really kind of taken over. And I was just like, yeah, and then shout out Alex for having a good attitude. And I use the line from The Dark Knight, which is corny as fuck, but it is true. It's always darkest before the dawn. So there is good to come from this. Park Rose Permaculture, she made an announcement today that she's going to be focusing less on politics and going back to her permaculture stuff and that kind of thing and organizing. But she said like she's not doing like the sensationalized politics anymore, which we'll see. But she said it was kind of like this, where she did kind of feel like it. She's just like, I kind of feel like I'm always beating my head against a fucking wall. Which, you know, it does suck, especially when you are kind of seeing like that's why I brought up the AOC MTG thing, because it is kind of like, guys, if we keep getting like roped into talking about that bullshit and that's the way that it's going to be like going into the elections, don't be surprised when we're not winning, like as the progressive movement does not gain traction, because a lot of times, like I said, we tend to push people away that would totally vote for us. But it's usually something that, like, if we had just kept our fucking mouth shut, you know, they would be there. Trust me, I literally lose subscribers like because of my opinions and shit. And like, have I also like, am I that fucking set in my ways where I'm not willing to admit when I'm wrong? The problem is with this one specifically, like I said, 6 years. Like I've seen that we haven't really gained any traction, which is a problem. I put my foot in my mouth all the time. I'm just trying to learn from it. That's being human. But like I said, sometimes online, being human is not allowed. Also, in general, like people have to, like, they have very rigid ideas of like how somebody should be to them. Like we do it with politicians, and honestly, I think that people do it to content creators too. Especially in this space, not like this space, but like the political YouTube space. Oh God, thank you for that. Gotta love the marketing of this space. Oh wow, we're almost to the end here. Well, I guess I'll just hang. Cool. Oh righty. Just so you guys know, we got the Valley Labor Report coming up after me, so make sure you guys stick around. But I also hope you guys understand that like these are my opinions. I know that like I welcome the disagreement. I really do. I also hope that you guys are opening your minds a little bit to the idea that, yeah, okay, we might have to work with some of these like what we call centrist libs, or you know, try and get some people into our like onto our platform. But like you have to kind of like gauge where it's like, okay, whenever I'm having like these conversations, especially for canvassing, it's like, where do people check out? Because like, that's how I do this, where like, it's analytical. It's literally the analytics of like, okay, we got, you know, only like they only got so much bandwidth to really fucking listen. So this is why in politics, it's like the rule of three. If you can package your message into just a tight fucking like 3 sentences, perfect. And that's what Zoran was really good at. And I think that that's also why he is having some success. Pep clip uploaded in real time. Experiment successful. Hey, look at that. I appreciate that. You can have issues with politicians and still support them because they aren't the best option. I don't like Plattner being in Blackwater, but what else is there? Exactly. That's actually a great point. What else do you have? Susan Collins. The thing is, based on what he is out campaigning on, and the thing is, like, remember, some politicians do hold to the idea that if they really piss off their constituency, then they might not have a job later. Not everybody is expecting the next John Fetterman, and I think that that's where we need to really calm down, because it's like this trauma has gotten us into a place of just being like, you can't trust anybody. I did it with Kat Abu Ghazaleh, which I will admit that was stupid. That was stupid. I fell for it. I literally fell for it. And now that I like can step back and just go, yeah, you know what? I fell for that bullshit too. Because it's like, oh, well, she's carpetbagging. She doesn't really hold this position. Why does she talk about her relationship with Ben Collins? Blah, 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 blah. You know, I still voted for her though, because I knew, I was like, you know what? When it comes to the actual policies, she's the one to go with. So, you know, I guess that's the end of my pep rant. If you guys do want to come and have more discussions, make sure that you guys check me out over on my channel, at Pep Talks TV on YouTube and Twitter, or Twitter and Twitch. I always do that. But yeah, come hang out. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna also just have a good chill time. And when I said I'm kind of on board with some of this, like lean out of politics a little bit and towards, the more entertaining aspect of things, I think that you guys can come and be entertained. So great rant, great Pep rant. Thank you, Pep. No, thank you. And thank you for listening. Like I said, if you guys disagree, it's fine. Just, I hope you guys don't hate me for it and all of a sudden need to unsubscribe or just like not watch my channel or watch my show. Like that's this kind of stuff that I was kind of talking about. It's like, wow, like this is a good example of just like, okay, like we should be able to agree to disagree and also that I can learn. So do appreciate you guys listening to the Pep Rant. Stick around for the Valley Labor Report, and I will catch you guys tomorrow on Primetime Pepaganda. Peace.
Who the heck is Pep Talks?
I'm not gay, but I fantasize about Marco.
Who the heck is Pep Talks?
I'm not gay, but I fantasize about Marco Rubio. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Pep Talks. Let's eradicate the Kung Flu. I'm literally coming. Pep Talks. Pep Talks.
Who the heck is Pep Talk?
They want our women. They want our children.
Pep Talk.
Sometimes no means yes. Grab them by the
Pep Talk.
Grab them by the Marco Rubio. Obama is a racist.
Pep Talk.
I'm literally coming. I'm literally coming.
Pep Talks.
We found weapons of mass destruction. My fellow Americans, it has been confirmed today from Pep Talks that we are indeed all high on politics.